Horns up and welcome to Headbanger's Kitchen, your one-stop shop for keto recipes and keto diet related things. If you're new here, consider subscribing and hit that bell icon so you get notifications when I upload a new video and you don't miss anything. Now before I kick off today's episode, I want to give a huge shout out to Bob Batty, to Ali Miller, to Suresh Subramaniam and to Mukta Lad for all supporting Headbanger's Kitchen, picking up some HK t-shirts and sending me pictures wearing them. If you've bought a Headbanger's Kitchen t-shirt or mug, please take a picture with it and send it to me at headbangerskitchen@gmail.com, and I'd love to say thank you personally. Anyway, if you haven't got one yet, the links to it are in the video description box below. Anyway, enough jibber jabber about today's recipe. Today we're going to be making the ultimate low carb spaghetti with meatballs. Oh yeah, but we're not just going to take a spiralizer and spiralize the zucchini and throw in some tomatoes and no. We're going to go big or go home. So we're going to be using squid for today's recipe, and we're going to be creating squoodles, which are my own invention, or at least I'd like to think so. Spaghetti made out of squid, squoodles. That's a new thing. Hashtag it, guys. Squoodles. Anyway, we're going to make delicious meatballs to go with our squoodles and a rich tomato gravy, and this recipe is going to be perfect for like 2 people. Of course, we're going to get a lot more meatballs than 2 people require, but anyway, enough jibber jabber. I'll let you know all the information in the recipe post on headbangerskitchen.com. For now, let's get on to the recipe. Now for our meatballs, we're going to be using 250 grams of beef mince and 250 grams of pork mince. I'm going to give it a little mix and blend both the meats together. Then I'm going to give this a good seasoning with some salt, some freshly cracked black pepper or pepper powder, some cayenne pepper for a little bit of heat, and some garlic powder. I'm also going to add some fresh parsley, some fresh thyme, a whole bunch of Parmesan cheese, and some more cheese. I'm using Monterey Jack here. And finally, I'm going to crack an egg into that. And then you want to give it all a good mix. Now you can use any other herbs and seasonings that you like. I had some fresh thyme at home, so I used that. And I thought parsley is very sort of conventional to the meatball, so I must use some of that. Anyway, once that's done, it's time to shape the meatballs, and I've seen many people use an ice cream scoop, so I'm going to use an ice cream scoop, and I'm going to make sure that I wet my hands so that the meat doesn't stick, and I'm going to shape those balls. Now I'm trying to make sure that I use about 50 to 60 grams for each meatball. I find that the meatballs shouldn't be too large. If you prefer smaller meatballs, you can make them even smaller than 50 grams. Once the meatballs are done, I'm just going to set it aside and get on to the rest of the stuff. Now I'm going to make my squoodles, and I'm going to be using some squid or calamari or whatever you want to call it. Now what you want to do is run your knife right across the squid and basically open it up. And then I was a little confused whether I should cut it horizontally or vertically, and then I realized the vertical cuts will get me a longer noodle or a squoodle actually. So yeah, so I did an okay job on the first one, and I thought I'd do the second. Pretty much do the same thing, run the knife through it and cut it lengthwise, and I got much better at doing it. I think 1 squid per person is a good serving size. And that was it, my squoodles were ready. Now it was time to cook the meatballs, and I got the frying pan on the stove and I heated up some olive oil. Once the oil was nice and hot, I added in my meatballs, and you want to add them clockwise so you can remember which one you added first and turn them accordingly. Now you just want to let these meatballs cook on one side, and once it's got a nice crust, you want to rotate it. And you're going to need to keep doing this because, well, it is a meatball and it needs to be cooked thoroughly and on all sides. A handy tip is, if you are going to make extremely large meatballs, you might want to consider getting them seared off in the pan and then finished in the oven. However, the size of my meatballs were pretty decent, so I think they will cook all the way through in the pan. Now the cooking time for the meatballs is going to vary according to what kind of meat you're using and also how much fat content it has. Anyway, mine are lovely, golden brown on the outside, cooked to perfection, and I'm going to remove them from the pan. Once our meatballs are done, I'm going to quickly dice up some white mushrooms. And you can use any mushrooms you like. You can even skip the mushrooms if you're not a fan, but I just wanted to do something different. Now in the same pan in which we cook the meatballs, we're going to melt a whole tablespoon of butter because you want that fat in your food. Because fat is good and carbs are bad. Once that butter has melted, I'm going to throw in the diced mushrooms and give it a seasoning with some salt and some pepper. And then just give that a good mix. I'm also going to throw in some red chili flakes and some dried oregano. This is going to give our sauce some good flavor. Then I'm going to add in some minced garlic. And yeah, we want garlic in our food because garlic is flavorful as anything. Well, it's actually as flavorful as garlic, but yeah, you get the idea. And then I'm going to add in about 150 grams of canned tomatoes and also a splash of water. Now I chose to use canned tomatoes because these are imported straight from Italy and they give it a very Italian flavor and they taste very different from the Indian tomatoes. So I just took a creative decision here, but you can use regular local tomatoes that have been pureed or whole, in fact, your choice. Anyway, I'm just going to cover it and let it cook for about 5 to 7 minutes till the tartness of the tomatoes is cooked out. Okay guys, I forgot to put salt in my tomatoes, so make sure you guys don't forget. It's been about 5 to 7 minutes and you can see that our tomato sauce has reduced down nicely, and I'm going to add in our squoodles to it now. And I'm also going to pour in the resting juices from the meatballs and give that all a good mix. Now this will literally take 2 minutes to cook, so don't overcook your squid. And in about 2 minutes your squoodles are ready, and I'm just going to finish it off with some fresh basil for like extra freshness, and it's going to be awesome. Now it's time to plate up, so I'm going to take a portion of those squoodles in tomato sauce and place them in my bowl. Then very gently place 2 meatballs on top of that. Grate some Parmesan cheese over that, because you can never have enough Parmesan cheese, can you? And tear some fresh basil leaves and garnish it with that. And oh yeah, our keto spaghetti and meatballs with squoodles is done, and that looks delicious. I can't wait to taste. Alright folks, so it's time to taste our delicious spaghetti and meatballs. Now one thing I gotta tell you is I forgot to season my tomato sauce with salt, and I seasoned it later, so I have a perfectly seasoned dish now. And there are a lot of other things I want to talk to you guys about with regards to the cooking of the spaghetti and the meatballs themselves, especially because the meat I get in India and what you get in USA is different in terms of fat content, yada yada yada. There is so much jibber jabber that I can do that what I'm going to do is I'm going to write it all out in the blog post on headbangerskitchen.com. That is also where you will get this recipe written down along with all the measurements and the macros as well. So head on over to headbangerskitchen.com after this video and check out all the details. Anyway, enough jibber jabber, let me taste now. Alright, oh yeah, yummy, 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 yummy. Oh wow. Oh my god, this is insane. Unreal. Unreal. Folks, you gotta go try this. I mean, look, if you're a vegetarian, you can use zoodles or whatever, but the combination of that reduced down tomato sauce with the squid, the fresh basil, the cheesiness of the meatballs, it is, I think I have made my best keto dish till date. I mean, this is sophisticated, it's flavorful. I'm out of words. And I'm going to go and enjoy this, and I will see you on the next episode of Headbanger's Kitchen. Cheers and keep cooking. So good.